Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to walk through a day in my life at Google and how I've learned to stress manage at work throughout the day. I feel like stress management at work is actually so important because I've noticed that the mental and emotional state work puts me through is often reflected in my personal life. And also, I would say that learning how to manage our stress at work can also impact the longevity and success of our careers. All that to say, here are a few things I've learned throughout the course of my career in how to manage my stress at work. The thing with work is that there's always going to be things that stress us out. And when I was trying to really understand why do I feel stressed throughout the day, because it definitely ebbs and flows. There are some moments when I'm not very stressed out and other moments when I feel that pressure really kicking in. For me, it's usually when I don't want to be making a mistake. So for instance, I realized that with high visibility presentations, I feel very stressed out because there is that pressure of wanting to do a good job, but the self-induced part of that stress is when I pressure myself into thinking I can't make any mistakes. I saw this quote from the NBA documentary that I really like. One of the players said, knowing that you're not going to be perfect, but as long as you're not afraid in these moments, it's going to be all right. And that's exactly what I think should apply to the external stresses we face in work as well. And I think when you take on this type of mindset, it highlights more development versus performance. I feel like I'm allowing myself that room to grow. And in that room, I'm acknowledging that, I'm gonna make mistakes, but I'm gonna be all right because it's taking on more of a growth mindset versus a perfectionism mindset. So just in morning pages, I try to journal every morning because I feel like if I wake up with something on my mind, even if it's kind of a disorienting dream or just feeling stressed about the day ahead of me, I find that just writing it down on paper and getting it out of my head first thing in the morning really reshapes the way I handle the rest of my day. It helps to just get it out, not by just trying to dismiss the feelings or thoughts that I'm having, but by really addressing them. I found that it's helped me move past it and helped me focus on things that I should be focusing on. Now I'm gonna go get ready for an upcoming meeting that I have. I feel like sometimes it also helps me to reframe the good, the boring, the exciting, and the bad onto a spectrum of fascinating. I actually took this from a leader at Google, and I thought that a couple changes of words help you reframe your stress. It's almost like at every company, there's its own spectrum of fascinating, and this is one of the things that fall in that bucket. And I also realized, if I'm able to problem solve this, this is also great in terms of my own development. That being said, I think self-awareness is also key because there's a lot of times there's all these fire drills at work, and I think it's important to be able to take a step back and also acknowledge, we're not saving lives over here. Maybe you are, but I'm definitely not in my day-to-day job. And so that also helps me put a little bit more space between my mental sanity and work, and also being able to pinpoint, is this something that's actually as important as the space that I'm letting take up in my life? Because the better I'm doing, the better I'm also going to be performing and developing. Compartmentalization, I would say, is the key to managing my stress at work, and I've definitely gotten better with this over the years. Now I'm able to unplug on Friday and not think about work at all until Sunday night, start to kind of think about how to plan for the week and what's upcoming, and then Monday I'll hit the grind again. Not being able to disconnect like that at work, especially on weekends, is actually very detrimental to managing my stress. A lot of times when Sunday scaries occur, it has to do with things that are outside of our control. It's a high stress, low consideration for your personal life. I definitely feel for everybody there, having once been through that myself. Being able to detach and disconnect is so important, and this is why I find that all those little routines that I do is actually really helpful. Doing morning pages helps me catalog habitually, my day's about to start and I want to get everything out. Stretching throughout the day when time allows kind of helps me loosen up the tension that I'm feeling. And a lot of times the mental and emotional stress is also reflected physically, right? And lastly, I always try to end my day by doing a quick walk, and I think just habitually doing physical reminders, it actually really helps with me exercising the muscle of compartmentalizing and detaching from work. So another thing I like doing is to find work work that really excites me. And obviously this is easier some days than others. The more things I'm excited about working on, it almost builds my capacity to take on other things. I found it to be a very preventative way to manage your stress. I've actually had a lot of different leaders say to me that it's important not to chase promotions, but to focus on what you want to do. So what I do in my current job is that I'm almost like the cool mom, where I work with a lot of different leaders and teams in order to implement more processes, more systems, and build a little bit more strategy onto their strategy. And there's a lot of learning opportunities there, but sometimes, it's not always fun to be the mom. But this is where I try to find work that's interesting to me by being like the cool mom, where I get people wanting to work with me. And I think that influencing and that presentation is something that I find really interesting. And so that is how I've learned to implement more things into my day-to-day that I find very interesting. I would love to hear like the ways you guys decompress and detach as well. And if you want to try some of my little things out, let me know how it goes. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot, like every little comment that we're reading. So really appreciate you guys just tuning in and being a part of this huddle we're all in together. Let me know if you guys have any tips for stress management, and catch you in the next one. Bye!